Stay tuned to learn more about boating accident cases and what makes them unique for trial lawyers. Terry, another somewhat different area of practice where I know you handle cases that maybe other trial lawyers do not are boating accident cases. If you would please tell us a little bit about that, what the discovery process is like, and how are those cases similar or different than, say, car or truck wreck cases?
Sure. The easy part is they're similar to car and truck wreck cases and what I call drugs, sex, and rock and roll. You see folks over consuming whatever they're consuming, and they're operating boats. And that's a huge cause of crashes, whether it's injury, hitting someone, hitting a skier, improper operation of the boat. So those are always issues. The other with boats, though, is they like trucking. There's something called the American Boat and Yacht Council that has standards for the designs of boats. And typically what you see with bigger craft are carbon monoxide issues or mechanical issues. Occasionally you'll see collision cases with boats. Those are rare, and those typically involve drugs or alcohol or nighttime operation. But the other is, and most folks don't realize that marinas, and they're dangerous because of the electricity. There's been children and adults who have been drowned or electrocuted at marinas jumping into a boat slip. There's a loose cabling, or somebody has their pigtails plugged into a shore outlet. It electrifies the water, and it only takes 50 to 100 milliamps of electricity to stop your heart. If probably the most recent example of that would be the football player that heart stopped during the playoffs last year for the Buffalo Bills. And all that was an electrical disruption, from an impact. But there's lots of stories of kids and adults being electrocuted and drowning, and they can't figure out which of the two killed them when they jump in near electrical power around marinas. And then the other is, and as innocuous as this sounds, you're skiing, you go back to the back of the boat, the engine's running, but it's not wide open. There's something called teak surfing, where people will grab out and grab on, or they'll actually get pulled by the boat. And what's bad about that is the same thing as carbon monoxide can overcome you. You lose control. And carbon monoxide is an odorless, colorless, tasteless gas. And you can be overcome by carbon monoxide and drowned pretty quickly without knowing that it's impacting you. So you'll see probably this July 4th weekend, there'll be a carbon monoxide or teak surfing death where someone was overcome by carbon monoxide by hanging on the back of a boat, drinking a beer, or waiting to go on another ski run.
Wow. And so when you think about these, especially these carbon monoxide cases, are these typically, is this a products liability or a design defect type litigation?
They can be, Donna, as you recall, a few years ago, you got a significant 8-figure verdict, and we resolved it confidentially after that. It was a carbon monoxide. It was related to a generator and a design defect. But the issue, you've got technical standards, mechanical failures, and then you've got medicine as it relates to how carbon monoxide overcomes someone and can lead to death if you don't evacuate them or the carbon monoxide out of a closed space.
Okay. So, I think when I think about boating and boating accidents, you're right. And people are over consuming. And so one of the things happening here locally in our community is that they are ramping up the BUI, the boating under influence laws. Is that something that you see globally? And how does that impact these types of cases for your firm?
Sure, it does. It's become a bigger issue, particularly in boat collision cases, where someone's over invited, They're operating on the lakes. So the wildlife and fishery and game police in Tennessee or Alabama, Georgia, Florida, South Carolina, whatever state, are starting to police that more, particularly around holiday occasions. If you in Tennessee, if you go to one of the big lakes there in the TVA authority, the police know where folks are going to be hanging out in boat coves in droves, and they're looking to help people to save lives, but they're starting to get as virulent as DUI roadblocks. So folks need to be aware when they're out having a good time over the 4th of July or other holiday weekend that the boat police are out in force and they're looking to make arrests. Where in the
Absolutely.
past that was not they were more looking for fishing license violations than they were so much a BUI.
All right. Well, again, this is a more specialized area of litigation, and clearly you've had some success. If someone wanted to contact you who maybe has a client that presents with a boating accident case and they know that's just not their area of expertise and wanted to consult you, Terry, what would be the best way for someone to get in touch with you?
Sure. The easiest is my website, terryjacksonlaw.com. That's easy to remember, no spaces, all phonetic. Or, the old fashioned way, pick up the phone, 404-659-2400. Easy number to remember, and happy to talk to anyone.
Fantastic. Well, thank you for joining us today and sharing all these important tips about boating safety and boating litigation.
Fantastic. Thanks again, Donna.